Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Fire Fist Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post the December 2022 ban list. We finally got Tenki back at 3. I'm guessing, the Tri Brigade just wasn't as strong, so they figured the card could come back off the 3, which is always nice because it powers up other decks. Cards like Lunalight, Fire Fists definitely do benefit greatly from having Tenki at 3, just being able to help with your search power in the deck. And I've been wanting to do an update for the Fire Fists, and this just gives the best reason to do so with all of the full power the deck now has to use again. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Fire Fist main deck monsters, we are running 3 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Elephant. If this card's normal or special summon, you can send one face-up Fire Formation Spell Trap you control the graveyard to special summon one Fire Fist monster from your hand except for Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Elephant. And you can target one Fire Formation Spell Trap in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, then you can add one level 5 or higher Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Fire Fist Elephant once per turn. So it has special summon power from your hand. Being able to summon out another Fire Fist can give you access to either your Link monsters or any of your Xyz monsters if you have the proper levels on the field for it, and then being able to search out a level 5 or higher monster for the Fire Fists give you access to your Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Panda, which we are also running 3 copies of. If you activate a Fire Formation Spell or Trap card, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one Fire Fist monster from your graveyard, except for Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Panda. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except for Fire Fist monsters. And if a Fire Fist monster you control will be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can send one face-up Fire Formation Spell or Trap you control to the graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Panda once per turn. So Panda is an easy special summon. If you have an additional Fire Formation card to activate after you've searched it from Elephant, that can be your additional summon on the field. Cards like Tensu, which can give you an additional normal summon, can be activated, chaining Panda to the summon, and then still having that additional normal summon as well. Or even just the search now that we have Tenki at 3 to use in the deck. And also with this card, being able to protect your other Fire Fist makes it all the better as a 3-of staple to use. And for the other 3-ofs, I also run the 3 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Dragon once per turn if you activate a Fire Formation Spell or Trap card. Except during the damage step, you can set one Fire Formation Trap card directly from your deck. And once per turn, you can send 2 face-up Fire Formation Spell or Trap you control to the graveyard to target one Fire Fist monster in your graveyard, except for Dragon, and special summon it. So giving you another special summon gives you plays off of Elephant once again, because Elephant is when it's normal or special summon. And cards like Dragon being able to set up some of our other Fire Fist cards, including our Fire Formation the counter trap, makes it all the scarier for what you want to set up on the field trap-wise when you just have to activate another Fire Formation card. It all comes down to just the setup you have, and that is why Panda, Elephant, and Dragon are all 3-ofs, because they really do help with all of those plays. I also run 3 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Raven. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can set one Fire Formation Spell Trap or spell card directly from your deck. Fire Formation Spell Traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this is the setup for either cards like Fire Formation Tenki, Fire Formation Tensu. We have plenty of Fire Formation spells to set and then activate on the field, since if you set a continuous spell, you can still activate it on the same turn that it was set, giving you access to any of the ones you need, with Raven just having to be sent from the field to the graveyard. I also run 3 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Leopard. If during your main phase, if it was normal or special summon, you contribute one Fire Fist monster to set one Fire Formation Spell Trap card directly from your deck. You can only use this effect of Leopard once per turn. Now, I'm a big fan of the Horse Prince Synchro combo in the deck, so being able to have cards like Leopard tribute out to then use our Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit, which I'm running 2 of. It cannot be used as synchro material except for the synchro summon of a Beast Warrior monster. When it's normal summon, you can target one level 3 fire monster with 200 or less defense in your graveyard and special summon that card in defense position. And if you do, monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn except for Beast Warrior monsters. So you'll go for the Leopard play, because then you'll have your level 6 synchro play that you can go into being your Horse Prince for more special summoning in the deck. One of the cards you want to special summon out for the additional search is Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Rooster. When it's special summoned by the effect of a Fire Fist monster, you can add one Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Rooster once per turn, and once per turn you can send one face-up Fire Formation Spell Trap you control to the graveyard to set one from your deck directly to the field. Very, very useful. Just 2 of, though. It's a great special summon off of the Horse Prince. You have other options to get on the field, but that's going to be your main play to rely on getting Rooster out. For some of the 1-ofs for the Fire Fist monsters, I also run 1 Buffalo. With Buffalo, if it's in your graveyard, you can send a total of 2 fire formation cards from your hand and or face on the side of the field to the graveyard to special summon this card, and you can only use this effect once per turn, but just another easy special summon. Also, if your field is getting too cluttery with all of the different fire formation cards. 1 Gorilla for the additional option that destroys by battle. It lets you set a fire formation spell directly from your deck. And 1 Bear, giving you the option to set one when you inflict battle damage, and also having the options with Gorilla and Bear to also destroy spell traps or monsters on the field. I feel they're one-ofs though, they're easy searches, and they really only contribute to the destruction power, so that's really all you need for each of them. And then the last of the monsters for the main deck is just 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I love this card also for the fact that it is recyclable from the graveyard, with cards like Lion Emperor being able to add it back to our hand and then just reuse this hand trap because of it. That is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. Back at full power is Fire Formation Tenki. When it's activated, you add 1 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster from your deck to your hand. All Beast Warrior types you control gain 100 attack. You can only activate 1 Tenki per turn, but it searches out the good majority of the Fire Fist monsters in the deck. Aside from Panda, but what's great is Panda still special summons off of when you activate Tenki, so that's why we're also running 3 Panda, because if it's in your hand, that could just be the special summon, and then the additional search for whatever Fire Fist card you need in the rest of the deck. I also run 2 Fire Formation Tensu. With this card during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Beast Warrior monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn, and all Beast Warrior monsters you control gain 100 attack. So the additional normal summon helps for setups if you have to go for the Leopard play, tributing it to get out, let's say, your Tenki, using Tenki to search out Spirit, and then if you have the Tensu, you can at least then additional normal summon the Spirit and get out your Leopard because of it. And I also run 2 Fire Formation Yugioh with this card. When it's activated, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, discard 1 Beast Warrior monster. If you do, destroy that card, and all Beast Warrior monsters you control gain 100 attack. So it's more of an option being able to give this card the play to be able to destroy face-up cards on the field and still be searchable with some of your other cards in the deck. For some of the one-ofs for the Fire cards, I also run 1 Fire Fortress, a top Liang Pink. It's always treated as a Fire Formation card, so it is another searchable card. It's just the field spell instead, so another card that can be counted as one on the field, at least to use. Each time a Fire Fist monster is normal or special summon, place 1 Fire Fist counter on this card, and once per turn, you can remove 1 Fire Fist counter from this card, or Fire Fist counters in general to activate these effects. If you remove 2, if your Beast Warrior monster attacks this turn, your opponent can activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. If it's 6, you can add 1 Beast Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. If it's 10, you can special summon 1 Beast Warrior monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Being able to get out a Link monster just from that, it takes a lot, but it's still useful just to build up those counters, since each time a Fire Fist monster is just normal or special summon. You can go through them quite a lot with all the extra deck plays you can do. I also run the 1 Fire Formation in Gen with this card. When it's activated, you can fusion summon 1 Beast Warrior fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 Fire Fist monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So this is great to use with cards like Elephant and also Dragon that send cards to, search and add other cards, because then Ingen at least gives you other cards from your graveyard back to your hand for you to use. And lastly, 1 Fire Formation Gyoko. It doesn't come up as often because it does rely on your opponent having a set card in their spell and trap card zone for you to activate. Targeting this card, then they can't activate it, but still a good text search to use because of it. And then for the rest of the spells, I run 1 Call by the Grave and 1 Monster Reborn, just getting resources back from the graveyard and using Call by the Grave to stop any of our opponent's own plays. As for the traps, I run 2 Ultimate Fire Formation Sinto. When a spell or trap is activated while you control a Fire Fist monster and a Fire Formation spell trap, negate the activation. If you do destroy that card, you can activate 1 Ultimate Fire Formation Sinto per turn. But all you need is the setup that you'll normally have on the field to begin with, which is your Fire Formation spell or trap and your Fire Fist monster. And then you just have a counter trap to stop any of your opponent's spell or trap activations. And then the last trap we run is just the 1 Fire Formation Tensen. When it's activated, you target 1 Beast Warrior monster you control. It gains 700 attack till the end phase, and this card remains even if this card leaves the field, and all Beast Warrior type monsters you control gain 300 attack. So this trap, unlike the spells, gives a bigger power push to the Fire Fist monsters on the field, and an additional 1,000 total for the 1 turn for the 1 monster that gains the additional 700 also. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. For the Fire Fist Link monsters, I'm running 2 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Peacock. With this card, you need 2 Fire Fist monsters. When this card points to a Fire Fist monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. When it declares an attack, you can send 1 face-up fire formation spell trap you control to the graveyard, target 1 monster and your opponent controls, place that opponent's monster in a zone this card points to, and take control of it until the end phase, but it cannot declare an attack this turn. You go and use each effect of Peacock once per turn, but it's just another way to take resources away from your opponent, and also being able to protect some of the weaker Fire Fists or ones you don't want your opponent to destroy on the field, and just another way for you to send your Fire Fist cards to the graveyard using this card also. I also run the 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Eagle. I may potentially want to run 2 Eagle. If so, you can just drop the number of Peacocks we run down to 1 and put in an additional copy of this card. You can only special summon Eagle once per turn. You can activate fire monster effects without sending Fire Fist or Fire Formation cards from your hand or field to the graveyard. You can target 1 Fire Formation spell trap card you control or in the graveyard, return it to the hand, then send 1 Fire Fist monster from your deck to the graveyard. So being able to not have to send for cards like Dragon just gives us a special summon from the graveyard. It gives us a search, you name it. We have plenty of protection plays, search effects, you name it, all because of Eagle. Even with our one-ofs being Bear and Gorilla, if you set up the Eagle, which just needs 2 Beast Warrior monsters to do, you have this on the field, and then your go-to plays to rely on with all your other Fire Fist monsters without having to minus yourself for any of your Fire Formation cards. And I also run 1 Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, also 1 Barricade Board Blocker, and 1 Apollosa for the remainder of the Link monsters that I run in the deck. For the Synchro monsters, I am just running 2 Fire Fist Horse Prince. Like I said, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. When it's Synchro Summon, you can special summon 1 level 3 Fire monster from your deck. After you Synchro Summon this card, you cannot special summon level 5 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn. So the only thing it locks you out of is going into another Horse Prince or Panda, but if you have Panda already on the field from an earlier special summon, it really doesn't matter there. The special summon you'll want to get most of the time with your Horse Prince will be your Rooster, because then Rooster will give you another search for a Fire Fist monster, just continuing your advantage for cards in your hand and on the field. And then for the Xyz monsters, I run 1 Tiger King. The additional overlay of this card, when it's special summoned by an Xyz summon, you can set 1 Fire Formation spell trap directly from your deck, giving you access to Tenki, Tensu, whatever specific one you need with this card, and also 1 Fire Fist Cardinal for its shuffle back power, and 1 Lion Emperor for the recycle power. Being able to detach 1 off a Lion Emperor and get cards like Ash Blossom back into our hand for the following turn is always useful, with the remainder of the Xyz monsters just being 1 Diamond Dire Wolf and 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus to overlay when we use the remainder of our materials on any of our Xyz cards. And then the last card in the deck is just the Fusion monster, which is Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Swan, needing 2 Beast Warrior monsters and our Fusion card, which is the Ingen, to summon it out onto the field. If it's special summon, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Fire Formation spell trap you control, and during the battle phase, quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Fire Formation spell trap card you control to the graveyard to target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So more pressure along with this fusion play, just giving you access to this if your opponent has cards like Dimensional Prison, where they can prevent you from either going for Synchro or Xyz. Having the option to go into a fusion can at least continue your plays if your opponent tries to shut you out of them. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, with the signature one being one of my favorites, just having the Fire Formation Tenki, if you have Tenki, and then just Leopard in your hand, or vice versa. If you have Tensu, then you can at least have the play. So whatever you have, we'll just say we have the Leopard and the Tenki. You can summon out your Leopard, tributing it, to then set the Fire Formation card from your deck onto the field. So you'll set the Tensu. You can then activate the Tenki, searching out your Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit. And then with that, you can activate the Tensu, getting the additional normal summon of your Spirit on the field, using Spirit to summon out Leopard. And with the 2, you'll go for the Synchro play to then go into your additional monster, which would be your Horse Prince. Horse Prince will activate when it's Synchro summoned to special summon out your Rooster onto the field. Activating Rooster when it's summoned can give you an additional Fire Fist monster to your hand. So with that, you can then even go for the additional play. Since it says when it's summoned to add 1 Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand, you can add cards like Panda, since it's a Fire Fist monster, and then use the additional effect of Rooster to send another Fire Formation card to the graveyard to set another one onto the field. And then with that, you can go for the additional play. Just remember, with the Horse Prince, you will be locked out of special summoning the Panda onto the field for the remainder of the turn, but then you'll at least have other setup with the cards in your hand to use, with cards like Tensin being able to be set thanks to the Rooster, or other cards like your Counter Trap, being able to change them out since it does have fire formation in its name. What other you can go for is the setup for the additional fusion plays with the same premise in mind. Instead of going into the Horse Prince, you could always summon out the play with your Spirit and your Leopard on the field, and then go for the additional Link 2 option with your cards to either go into your Eagle. So when Eagle, you can only special summon once per turn. You can activate the effects without the sending of fire formation cards to the graveyard with this card, and you can target one fire formation spell or trap you control or in your graveyard and return to your hand. So with the sent card option, or what you have on the field to use, you at least have the resources on the field still from what we had before if you go into the Link 2 play to have your monsters back into the graveyard for you to use also, and then all you would need is one additional card in your hand for you to use with that Link play also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. Like I said, Fire Fists have always been a favorite of mine, so being able to update them back to full power is always great. Maybe we'll see some more support for them later on down the road, but we have gotten pretty good amount of support having a Synchro, Xyz, Fusion, and Link monster to use all together for them. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.